This pressure wasn't punishment. It was prophecy. The resistance wasn't random. It was recognition. Hell saw something on you before you saw it in yourself. You thought it was just a delay, a season of misfortune. But what if it was divine marking disguised as warfare? What if the very thing you called an attack was actually a confirmation? Was it exhaustion or was it elevation? Was it sabotage or was it sanctification? Was it spiritual warfare or a spiritual summons? Stay until the end, because what you're about to hear may finally explain why your joy was drained, your circle collapsed, and why peace left the room right when you needed it most. What if none of that was failure, but evidence that you've been set apart? Welcome to Chosen One's prophecy, where the hidden are revealed, the weary are revived, and the marked are gathered. 1 Peter 4-12 says, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. This is not strange. This is strategic. This is not the end. This is where the scroll begins to open. Stay, because the signs that are about to unfold may explain your entire life." Marked in the Spirit. Why you're a target. Before the world named you, heaven marked you. There was a seal placed upon your life, not one made of ink, but of fire. The kind of mark hell can see from miles away. That's why your battles didn't wait until adulthood. The warfare began in childhood. Not because you were weak, but because you were recognized. You weren't under attack because you were cursed. You were under attack because you carry a kingdom. The enemy doesn't waste energy. He only wages war where destiny dwells. And in your case, the assaults came fast, deep, and strategic. Because your existence threatens his systems. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, not because he did something wrong, but because he dreamed too loud. You've always been too much, too sensitive, too spiritual, too intense. That wasn't rejection. That was spiritual identification. And if you've wondered why the attacks seem tailored to your weak spots, it's because they are. You are not random. You are targeted, because you are chosen. What if the pressure on your life has been the proof all along? The silence of the chosen. When God goes quiet. The most painful part of being chosen is not the battle. It's the silence. You pray, you cry, you wait, and heaven responds with stillness. But listen closely. The silence is not God's absence. It is divine surveillance. Scripture says in Isaiah 45:15, "Truly, you are a God who hides himself." God hides, not to punish, but to prepare. He watches how you respond when the applause fades, when the miracles stall, when the prayers seem unanswered. David was anointed king and sent back to the field. Years passed, no crown, no throne, just sheep and silence. You were not abandoned. You were being observed in the wilderness. In the silence, your roots are tested. In the silence, your motives are revealed. In the silence, God is proving what hell already fears, that even when you hear nothing, you'll still choose Him. So, if you're walking through a season where everything feels muted, stay low, stay faithful. You are still being measured for royalty. Not every silence is empty. Some silences are sacred. The furnace of formation. What pain is really doing. You don't become chosen through comfort. You become chosen through fire. The betrayal, the abandonment, the heartbreak. None of it was wasted. It was God's forge, where your oil was pressed and your authority born. Jesus was kissed by Judas. Joseph was stripped by family. Job was tested by loss. Esther fasted before entering the throne room. Their greatness was always preceded by pain. The fire didn't destroy you. It revealed what couldn't be burned. When everything around you was falling apart, something in you was being formed. The you that would rise later. The you that hell fears. God didn't allow the breaking to embarrass you. He allowed it to build you, quietly, deeply, without announcement. Your scars are not shame. They are scrolls, and one day they will speak. But not yet. First, you must pass through the furnace, not to be punished, but to be prepared. How much of your pain was actually prophetic? When the signs are ignored. The high cost of spiritual blindness. Hell rarely roars. It whispers. And when the whispers are ignored, strongholds are built. What begins as fatigue becomes apathy. What begins as distraction becomes destruction. You stopped praying as much. You distanced yourself from godly community. You started saying, "I'm just tired." And the devil smiled. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you if he can just distract you. Biblical anchor, Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Yet how often do we fight shadows and forget the source? Spiritual attacks often wear ordinary clothes. A draining relationship, a sudden shift in mood, reoccurring dreams, night after night of spiritual exhaustion. These are not just life, they are assignments. When you feel your appetite for God dying, you must not be passive. You must war. Because once the altar goes cold, the soul becomes exposed. Open your eyes. The signs are not subtle, they are surgical. If this resonates, comment 4444 right now, as a prophetic sign that your spirit is awake, alert, and receiving. Don't ignore what heaven is trying to highlight. Darkness confrontation. Why hell targeted you. Early, you weren't attacked because of where you were. You were attacked because of where you were going. Hell does not fear the casual believer. Hell fears the chosen one who remembers. That's why you were silenced as a child. Why abuse tried to destroy your voice. Why fear tried to shut down your courage. It wasn't punishment, it was preemptive warfare. Demonic resistance rises when divine identity begins to activate. Just like Pharaoh hunted Hebrew babies when Moses was born. Just like Herod killed innocents when Jesus entered the earth. Hell smells the arrival of destiny, and it strikes early. If you faced attack after attack without understanding why, this is your clarity. You are dangerous to darkness. Your life carries light that breaks generational chains, and that light was never welcome in hell's system. But here's what hell underestimated. You survived. And now, you remember. Your authority is not borrowed. It's blood-bought. The moment you said yes to Christ, authority was transferred. Not rented, not borrowed, transferred. Luke 10:19 is not a metaphor. It's a military decree. I have given you authority to overcome all the power of the enemy. This means you don't fight for victory. You fight from it. You're not defenseless. You're undiscovered. When your identity aligns with your calling, authority becomes automatic. Demons don't flee because of your volume. They flee because of your position. Like Paul, like Peter, like Elijah, the moment they stepped into spiritual alignment, the world bent to the spirit within them. You've been living like a servant, but heaven calls you a son, a daughter, a sent one. And sent ones don't bow to storms. They command them. Heaven's assignment requires earthly obedience. You're not alive by accident. You are here because there is something on the earth only you can release. Heaven has an assignment on your scroll, but assignments don't move without obedience. Moses had to step toward the bush. Esther had to enter the king's chamber. Jesus had to walk toward the cross. God will show you the blueprint. But he won't walk for you. You're not stuck. You're hesitating. And heaven is waiting for your yes. Everything you've faced has trained you to carry this mantle. But training means nothing if obedience doesn't follow. This generation is starving for voices that are pure, not perfect. If you are chosen, this is your summons. Don't delay your destiny. There are lives connected to your obedience. What if your yes unlocks their freedom? The remnant is rising. You are not alone. You are not the only one who feels like a misfit. You are not the only one who dreams differently. weeps quietly, and walks heavily with a weight you cannot explain. That weight is your scroll, and others carry it too. All over the earth, the hidden ones are waking up, the rejected, the overlooked, the broken but burning ones. Heaven is gathering the remnant. Romans 11:5 says, "So too at the present time, there is a remnant chosen by grace." You are not a mistake. You are part of a movement. You are a living echo of a holy pattern. And now, heaven is assembling those echoes. One voice at a time. Find them, connect, and rise. You are the echo, and the world must hear it. This was never just about you. Your breakthrough was meant to echo. Your deliverance was meant to ripple through bloodlines, timelines, nations, and generations. You were marked to sound like heaven, to disrupt darkness, to carry clarity, to awaken sleepers. You are not just chosen to be seen. You are chosen to be heard. And your voice, trembling or thunderous, still carries the frequency of freedom. So speak. Rise, move, declare, obey. Because what you carry must be released. Even if your voice shakes, let it echo. You weren't under attack because you were weak. You were under attack because you were anointed. The pressure wasn't proof of your failure. It was heaven's way of proving you were carrying something sacred. You are not behind. You are becoming. This entire time you thought you were being delayed. But in truth, you were being disguised, hidden in plain sight for a holy hour. And now, the silence has lifted. The fire has refined. The scroll has been opened. You, chosen one, are standing at the edge of assignment. Every betrayal prepared you. Every night of weeping trained you. Every unanswered prayer shaped you into a vessel that hell can no longer touch. You have been marked. You have been forged. And now, you are being sent. If your spirit knows this word was confirmation, comment 777 below as a prophetic act of alignment. Share in the comments what part pierced you, awakened you, or reminded you of who you really are. Subscribe and stay connected to Chosen One's prophecy. Because the remnant is rising, and your voice is part of the sound. You are not alone. You are the next echo.